after me. I'm a man. I'm 40.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome into a brand new episode of Moving the Goalpost on the Empty the Bench Network. Make sure to subscribe to the Empty the Bench Network on YouTube. Follow us across social media at MTGPETB on Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter, and pretty soon TikTok, probably. You can follow me on Twitter at Nick DiMart. Make sure to like and subscribe. And you can listen to listen to Moving the Goalpost wherever you get your podcasts, Apple, Spotify, wherever you get it. And our YouTube channel is youtube.com/ETB network. All right. So I do want to lead off. Well, first of all, how are you doing?
I'm doing good. I'm feeling good. I'm ready for the weekend of football ahead.
Yeah, well, you're feeling well. Okay, so you're having a better week than Kadarius Toney. So Patrick Mahomes had this meltdown. I've never quite seen. Here's what I'll say. I've never seen an athlete reveal in words the entitlement that they've been enjoying quite like this. I've never seen an athlete say the quiet part out loud quite like this. Like, many times we've seen LeBron complain about calls not going his way when we all know that the calls tend to go his way a lot or whatever. We've never seen an athlete actually be this stupid about it and say, and basically say, okay, that was the right call, but you shouldn't have called it because it ruined a great play. Like, no, it should be the opposite. It would make more sense to complain about it if it was the other way around. Like, if you acknowledge that he was actually offsides, then you should blame Kadarius Toney for being offsides. I don't know what Mahomes was thinking. He just made himself look like an entitled jerk.
Well, yeah, I mean, I think they all did admit that he was offsides, because the main complaint that the Chiefs had was that they called it, that it ruined the play, or it shouldn't be called in that moment. And I think, in fairness, this is something that really you rarely ever see called. Like, in fairness to their argument, it is rarely called. But I mean, he was offsides by a country mile, and also, yes, the call fucked up a huge play, but at the same time, they then had a third down. It was only a 5-yard penalty. They had a third down and a fourth down to get a first down where they would have gotten into field goal range, tied the game, and went on to win. So it wasn't, that call didn't exactly kill them. And it was the right call, but great play, but it was the right call. And it didn't kill them. Like, they had other chances.
Yeah.
They didn't take.
Well, exactly. They had other chances, but also it's like, it's on you to be. I'm not exactly sure how it normally works. Apparently, the refs typically give some type of warning.
Yeah,
that you're.
Well, you can check if you're onside.
Right. You can check, and Kadarius Toney didn't check. Right. It's on him if he's not aware of where he is on the field. That part is just fairly obvious. Now, part of the thing is that, people are saying that it ruined the play. Part of me thinks that the play is more historic because it was called back. Am I wrong about that? The play is like more historic because it was called back.
Why?
But because it was ruined. That makes it more historic.
But why does that make it more historic?
What's that?
Because you're gonna say it was taken back. Because you're gonna say it was taken back.
Well, yeah, the play was called back.
But yeah, I don't know if that makes it more historic. But yeah,
well, it makes it more historically bad.
Insane.
It makes it historically bad.
Well, yeah, yeah. I mean, also there's an argument that the Chiefs thought that the Bills were offside because the flag came out right away. So there's an argument that the Chiefs thought the Bills were offside, and then
but they didn't make that argument.
Maybe let me finish what I'm saying, and then maybe maybe Kelsey only threw that ball because he thought they had a free play.
I think that might be true. I don't know if he would have made that, if he would have done that if he didn't think there was a free play.
Yeah.
So
it's possible that he did that, and I mean it was an insane play. That play, like, it's probably available to you like almost every play because of the way the defense converges when you have the ball. But yeah, it was an insane play. But I mean, they had the Chiefs did have a chance to win. By the way, the one thing I want to point out is the only reason that play really was that big in the game, that was like they had a chance to make the play, was the Bills are awful with clock management. Like the Bills had a first down where they had I think there was 2:20 left. So they had to get a play off before the 2-minute warning. So if they run the ball, it goes to the 2-minute warning. And instead they threw a ball to the side, incomplete, then threw another incompletion, and then another incompletion. So then there was 2:10 left and they had to kick a field goal. Like they could have taken, like the Bills clock management has cost them like numerous times.
Not just clock management, but their special teams.
Yeah, like the little things have cost the Bills. Like it's insane. And for some reason, also, I feel like the Bills always play, when the Bills and Chiefs play, it's always in Kansas City.
Yeah,
I literally can't remember any times that they're in Buffalo. But this was a big win for the Bills.
It was a huge win for the Bills. I mean, the Bills had a lot more to play for, I think, than the Chiefs.
Yeah, well, the Chiefs. I mean, the Chiefs. They have a favorable schedule coming up, but the Chiefs are only one game ahead of the Broncos, and the Broncos have the tiebreak.
Right, but the Chiefs, do they have the tiebreak?
I thought they did.
They're 1-1. I mean, you might be right. The Chiefs beat them once, and the Broncos beat them once. I don't know exactly how that works.
I think the Chiefs do have the tiebreak, but the point is they're only up one. They're only up one game on the Broncos.
The thing is, they have 4 easy games coming up.
Right.
I mean, they could win all 4 games by a combined of like 7 touchdowns. So it should be an easy. They have a very easy road ahead.
Yeah, they've got the Patriots, Raiders, Bengals, and Chargers.
Right now, they're 8-5. They'll probably finish 12-5 and win the division.
Right. But will they get I don't know if they'll get the 1 seed, which would mean that Mahomes would have to go.
True. Well, yeah, that's the thing. The big deal with them is the 1 seed.
Right.
And you know, that's probably going to go to the Ravens. When you look at the tiers of NFL teams, the Chiefs are up there, but right now the Ravens look better.
Yeah, I mean, the Chiefs are not the Chiefs receivers are a big issue.
Yeah. Just making big mistakes, it seems like, in these big spots. Wait, I just want to see. The Ravens.
Well, the Ravens do play at San Francisco on Christmas Day.
So the Ravens have a much tougher schedule coming up than the Chiefs.
As do the Dolphins.
The Chiefs are playing all backup quarterbacks. The Ravens are playing the Niners. The Jaguars, the Niners, and then the Ravens. I'm sorry, then the Dolphins.
And the Dolphins are also ahead of Kansas City, but they have a tough schedule as well.
The thing is, I think the Ravens. So the Ravens are playing the Niners and the Dolphins, and even the Jaguars, by the way, are a tougher game. I mean, the Jaguars are kind of in free fall right now. But like the Jaguars are still a much tougher matchup than the Chiefs are going to have the next 4 games.
Right, but we should say that the Ravens do have a 2-game cushion on the Chiefs.
They do.
So they'd have to go 2-2. Possibly 1.
Who would have the tiebreak? Do you know?
I'm not sure yet. I'm not sure yet. But also Jacksonville and Cleveland also at 8-5. A few teams at 8-5. But yeah, this was a big win for Buffalo. I mean, but you talk about Miami. If you look at the schedule, if you want to play the schedule game, Buffalo could take the division. Could go down to week 18, Miami, Buffalo for the division.
Yeah.
So
and the first time they played, they killed Miami.
Yeah, Miami, which sure we'll get into the Monday night games that happened, but Miami have beaten one team with a winning record, and that's the Broncos. And when they played the Broncos were winless at the time. So Miami, I think, is a team that is going to fade coming up here. They've got a tough schedule coming up.
Okay, that's true, but you can say that about a lot of teams. I don't think it's fair. I mean, there's a lot of teams that don't have win. I mean, you're right. They don't beat the. You're right. When they play really good teams, they don't win. But at the same time, that can kind of be said about a lot of teams that they don't beat teams with winning records. I mean, only half the league has winning records anyway, if that. Like,
right.
I guess you could say that about a lot of teams.
Right, but that was one of the reasons why it was such a massive win for the Bills was the Dolphins had a very unexpected loss on Monday, which then now put the Bills in prime position 2 games back, which is really 1 game back because they have the tiebreak.
Right. Well, the Bill, yeah, it was a huge. I mean, they're still a playoff team, the Bills. I mean, I feel like the Bills are the type of team. The Bills are the type of team that plays down to their competition, but also they can compete with anybody in the league. Like, I don't think there's any team that can blow out the Bills.
Right.
I mean, if you look at the tiers of teams right now, as long as they're healthy, the Niners look like the best team. The Eagles have kind of regressed. But there's no team that the Bills are not a match for. Like, that's why when people look at the lines and people are often like, oh my God, I can't believe the Bills are only 1.5 point underdogs or whatever. It's like, no. That makes sense because that's what the Bills do against these teams. Just because they've been a big disappointment doesn't necessarily reflect how they're going to do against these tough competition.
Yeah, I agree. They're a team I definitely wouldn't want to play in the playoffs. Like, if I was a playoff team, I would be rooting hard against the Bills.
Yeah, I mean, because here's the thing. The Bills are going to be seated lower than how good they really are.
Yes, correct.
I mean,
unless they win the division.
Right, unless they win the division. But I could see them not winning. Even if they don't win the division, I could see you saying that. Because they can still – right now it looks like they can compete with anybody. And as far as the Chiefs go, I guess you could argue the Chiefs are in a similar sort of position as the Bills, except they haven't been making blunders as often. But lately, I don't know, the Chiefs have had a couple of really bad losses too. It just feels like with the Bills, they were in that sort of state for the whole first half of the season, and they did it a lot more.
Yeah, and also they're in a little bit more of a favorable division, and so they'll have a bit more. They've had a bit more chance to cushion to have those bad games.
Right. Oh yeah, all that is true. Yeah, right. With the Chiefs division, the next best team is the Broncos. So,
right,
who's gotten a lot better, but they're still the Broncos. Okay, so I do want to talk a little bit about this. Hold on. So you're a Giant fan. I am not. This Tommy DeVito stuff. So, like you said, actually, I'll let you say it. I'm not going to talk for you, but I know you're a Giant fan. I watched the end of that game. I took the Giants actually, against the spread. It was an exciting win. This reminds me a little bit of when the Jets kept winning games against kind of lousy teams last year against kind of backup quarterbacks. But you know what? You can enjoy that win, but eventually you're going to come back down to earth.
Well, first of all, this is Linsanity 2.0, the Italian version. Somebody compared this. I was part of the interruption. Compared this to Josh Dobbs's two good performances, which is true. But Josh Dobbs had the ethnic backstory of this is what makes it the amazing story that it is. That it's an Italian kid from Jersey. He went to Don Bosco Prep, won the state championship at MetLife Stadium. He lives 5 minutes from this practice facility.
Not 5 minutes, but very close.
The father, well, he lives 5 miles. The father and mother and brother are straight out of Central Casting as the most New Jersey Italian family.
Like it was like a parody film about New Jersey Italians.
It's amazing. And the father owns a plumbing company. Like it couldn't get more stereotypical. They had a tailgate where they had cutlets and meatballs and pasta and all this stuff. The cousin, I think it's Tommy DeVito's cousin, who threw the party. His name is Danny DeVito. And then on top of all that, then the agent appeared.
And the agent looked like he was from a mafia movie.
Something else. Looks like he's from a mafia movie. Hat, pinstripe jacket. Like it's unbelievable. And it's unbelievable because not only is he Italian, but he is like literally like he's not just Italian by name. Like he's a Jersey Italian. Like he's the guy that you see at DJ's. He's the guy that you see in Hoboken every weekend. Like he is to the core Italian. And I'll admit I was watching the game with my grandfather when he made the throw to Wan'Dale Robinson. I had some tears come down. It was an emotional moment. I root for this kid so much, and it was unbelievable because also when Saquon, the Giants had the game won, Saquon went on a huge run that they would have basically had the clock, like run the clock down. The Packers would have had no time, and then he fumbled untouched. It was one of the worst fumbles I've ever seen. And then the Packers ran it back to the 40. Nobody thought that the Giants were going to win the game after the Packers took the lead either. Like nobody thought that. Like if you've watched games, if Daniel Jones was in the game, he would have been sacked 4 times and they would have not got it. But nobody thought they were going to win, and then they did. He's not going to. I agree that he's going to come back down to earth, but just the story is unbelievable, and it's who he is more than just him being the third string quarterback.
Right. Well, I think you're right. Well, the ethnic portion of it. Well, the thing is, the ethnic part of it has something to do with it, though it's not the only thing. He's not the only Italian professional athlete. There's been, I mean, quite a few. I mean, it wouldn't. I don't think that.
But don't you like Rizzo, right? Anthony Rizzo for the Yankees. He's Italian, but he's not this kid. Like this kid is so Jersey Italian.
Well, that's the part. He fits the stereotype like a glove, and he's from New Jersey. I feel like if this was not a Jet or a Giant team, it wouldn't really be that big of a story.
Right.
If he was on the Raiders, for instance, nobody would really care. It's because he's from that area. I don't know if he grew up a Giant fan or not. He might have, and just fits that stereotype of Italians that no other athlete really does to that extent, but also is so similar to such a large portion of the Giants fan base.
Exactly.
I think that's the biggest thing.
Exactly.
Is how similar he is. And the Jets too, probably.
Yeah, exactly. He's like, we had an Italian quarterback go to the Super Bowl just 2 years ago.
Right,
like,
but nobody's gonna
4 years ago, whatever it was.
Nobody's really gonna Garoppolo.
Yeah.
But nobody's okay, but like the story about Jimmy Garoppolo is never that he's Italian, although he's very Italian looking, even
Correct.
more Italian looking than Tommy DeVito. But the story is more about how he's like good looking and all like And all of this weird, it's sort of like a celebrity type, all of this weird stuff with Garoppolo. That's sort of the story around him.
Right. It's the personality like that and the family. And there's a video now circulating on Instagram. I don't know if you've seen it, but like of him. I don't know when it was from, but he was in a bar in Hoboken. Like he's like literally, like you said, he is all these guys who are Giants fans. Like he is the person. Like that is it adds to it. Yeah. Like the agent. I mean, the agent is such an unbelievable like story. Like I don't know who else like the agent represents. Like I really need to see his client list.
Yeah, it's got to be like a cousin.
Yeah,
it looks like he's a cousin. No, you're right. I mean, the agent. I was like, what the fuck?
They had I don't know if you saw this, but they had at his family's tailgates. They had the Italian flag with his picture in the middle, like he was in the white part of the flag.
Yeah, I mean, his family is like totally leaning into it,
as they should.
Yeah, as they should. They were embracing it.
Like he's gonna make like he's making a career for himself. Like even if he doesn't stay in the NFL, like he's gonna be able to do like paid appearances, like autographs, commercials. Like he's made a career for himself just from these games.
Yeah, no, you're right about that. Just from these games, he's going to be able to. He's basically made himself a household name.
Correct.
Merely from being lucky enough to be in the right situation.
I mean, there's no way. I would put money that there's going to be some sort of reality show about the family at some point.
Well, there easily could be. I mean, we've had the Jersey Shore. You could probably do something like that with his family.
Yeah, like this is the family. It's insane.
Well, I mean, like he could. I mean, as far as his football career goes, he's shown that he could at least be a backup.
He can. I mean, he's thrown more touchdowns than Zach Wilson and Daniel Jones this year. So
right. I mean, it's not. You don't have to be that good.
And by the way,
Stellato has represented 19. Okay, so Stellato, his agent has represented 19 Super Bowl champions. So he's represented. Wow. So he's actually represented quite a few players.
It was such an amazing video. And I don't know if you saw like Peyton Manning reacting to it on the Manning cast. He was like, who is this guy? Like, who is this guy? Also, I wanted to point out though, by the way, the Packers, because they didn't really get talked about much. And DeVito was great, but the Packers didn't sack DeVito once, which against the Giants offensive line is unbelievable. Also, they went up by 1. So the Giants only needed a field goal, and they were in a defense like the Giants needed 7 in 30 seconds. Yeah. They were like back. They were like, it was one of the worst like defensive because the Giants, if you remember, ran 3 plays just to get like the field goal a little bit closer. So they got down to the 20 in like 30 seconds.
Right.
Horrible defensive coordinating. And I think the Packers kind of came, like, I think people are really high on the Packers. The Packers aren't really that good.
I don't think anybody's really high on the Packers. They've just been people felt that they had the momentum.
Well, they were high on the Packers after they beat Kansas City and Detroit.
They were high, but the thing is, you can't get high on teams after something good. I mean, a lot of times when teams get a good win, they end up going back down to a bad loss or something. Like it doesn't. The high doesn't always stay. Yeah,
I mean, the Packers will still make the playoffs, but and also
only because they're in the weaker conference.
By the way, if Graham Gano could have made a fucking field goal, the Giants would be in a playoff position right now.
Yeah. And by the way, I remember people were really mad at Brian Dable for going for the field goal. But I mean, that's almost like Graham Gano makes that like 90% of the time. It's kind of hard to blame him.
Yeah, I was one of the people. But by the way, Dable has like there was a lot of talk of like Dable was going to get fired and the season was going to go down.
There's no way he gets fired.
No, I'm saying before this 3-game winning streak, like it felt like the season was going to go spiral and whatever. He's obviously shown like that he can keep the fight in the team and the team. I know that they got lucky to beat New England and they played Washington and the Packers, but just the fact that they've been fighting to win these games is a good reflection on him as a coach.
Yeah. Well, the thing is that I think that the thing is that in order for Brian Dable to have been fired, things would have to have gone colossally bad, like really, really, really bad. They weren't going to fire him after 2 seasons, especially right after he brought them to the playoffs.
Right.
and not to mention, he's on his third string quarterback. What's the likelihood that they're going to fire the guy from when you can't win with a third string quarterback? It's like, look, if you're a head coach and you don't have a good quarterback, you're not going to be able to win. Bill Belichick is proving that, which is a good segue. So apparently, I don't know if this is true or not, but the Patriots are going to be moving on from Belichick at the end of the season. And it was made by Robert Kraft after they lost to the Colts in Germany. This is a report. I find it hard to believe. It doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Well, it makes sense, but it just feels a little odd that the Patriots would be moving on from Belichick. Like, what head coach are you going to get that's better than Bill Belichick? He's widely regarded as the best NFL coach of all time. I don't know.
I disagree completely. I think that Belichick has been beyond exposed since Tom Brady left. He's been horrible since Tom Brady left. And
I don't disagree.
Right, but so I think it's time to move on. And I think they are going to move on. But I will tell you this. Bill Belichick is known that he hates the Jets with a passion. That Bill Belichick would be happy if the team went 2-15 and the 2 wins were against the Jets. Like, he hates the Jets. When they did the Bill Parcells documentary with Parcells and Belichick, they went into the Giant locker room, and then they were supposed to film a scene in the Jet locker room, and he refused to go into the Jet locker room. The Patriots' last game of the season this year would be against the Jets. So he would have a chance to finish that Patriot career by beating the Jets, which he loves to do. The Patriots were horrible this year, where they were 1 and what were they 1 and they had 1 win like in 10 games, and that 1 win was against the Jets. Like I could see this as him going, and I don't know. I think he's not a good. I don't think he's not a good coach, but he hasn't been the same coach. They're about to go into a deep rebuild. He's getting up there in age, so I see this as a good move for both sides, honestly.
Well, I think that I get that. I don't entirely disagree with that. What I'm saying is it doesn't really sound like something that would happen. Like, what sounds like what would happen, sounds like it would be like almost like a Tom Coughlin type of thing where, it's like, oh, we agreed to mutually part ways or something like that. Like, you would think something like that would happen.
He won't be fired. Yeah, it'll be like that.
No, but based on this report, it sounds like he did get fired.
Well, any mutual parting of ways with a coach and an organization is essentially firing.
Well, usually it probably is. But what I'm saying is that it's weird that the story came out like this. Like, I would expect it to come out at the end of the season. We've mutually agreed to part ways. Right? Like, that's
I agree. And that's probably what's going to happen. This is just a leak.
This is why I think it's complete bullshit when people say that Nick Saban can't coach in the NFL. Because look how – I'm not trying to make this about Nick Saban, but I am. Because look how bad Belichick was with the Browns, and look how bad Belichick is now.
Yeah.
When people point out how bad Nick Saban was with the Dolphins, Nick Saban, like, if an NFL team would offer him enough money, which I highly doubt anybody would because Alabama just pays him so much. But what I'm saying is he could coach in the NFL. This is why I think Nick Saban could be a good coach in the NFL. Like, if he can build a dynasty at Alabama, he could also coach in the NFL. Like, this just goes to show you that, like...
He couldn't, though.
What?
He couldn't, though.
You're saying Nick Saban couldn't coach in the NFL?
That's proven.
Well, it was proven, but you could say the same thing about Bill Belichick if he had left the NFL and gone to coach college.
Yeah,
but would you argue Bill Belichick can't coach in the NFL?
I don't know that he can't coach, but he's been exposed since... Would you not agree that he's been exposed that basically, like, Brady had a lot more to do with the Super Bowls than Belichick did?
Yes, I agree. I totally agree. But that doesn't mean that I think that, yes, you're right. He's been exposed. But you know what's been exposed more than Belichick is coaching. Coaching has been exposed more than Belichick has as less important than we think it is. Honestly.
Also, people need to realize also that they said, oh, he doesn't have a quarterback. That's one of the arguments. Oh, he doesn't have a quarterback. Mac Jones stinks. He's the GM of the team as well.
Right, exactly. So everything that goes wrong is also on Belichick. Bill Belichick is essentially like a college coach. Like, if you say a college coach doesn't have any good players, well, whose fault is that? Like, it's the same thing.
I'll say this also with admittance that if he leaves New England, he'll be hired maybe the second that he leaves New England by another team. Like, the question is, would you like if you? I think the hot team that they say is going to is Washington, but maybe he'll go to LA as the Chargers as well. The question is, if you were an organization, would you give him the same reins he has now in New England, or would you just have him coach?
It depends on how bad my current GM is and the current situation. Like, that kind of depends on what team. I would consider it, though, for sure, because you can't deny that he's done a good job in the past.
Certainly. And
it's not like he couldn't do it. But also, here's the thing. Actually, there's a few reasons I would certainly consider that. One is that, yes, I would consider it because he's been able to do it in the past. And second of all, I don't think he would take a job if he doesn't have that power.
Yeah, I agree with both that. And I also, saying that he hasn't been great, he's obviously earned like this record. Like, he's earned to be being able to have this record. No question.
Right. No, absolutely. Like, his accomplishments speak for themselves. But correct. I don't think, how often do head coaches in the NFL have GM power? The only other one I could think of is, I might be forgetting, but Chip Kelly.
Yeah, and that didn't end well.
And that didn't end well at all. Well, Chip Kelly, it didn't work great in the NFL. But he was a very good college coach.
His first try, not now.
Well, he hasn't been quite as good. He's been kind of up and down. UCLA kind of sucks this year. But he does have a history of success. And coaching in college is very hard. Not a lot of coaches have continual success. Jim Harbaugh, Nick Saban, okay. There's a few really good college head coaches that can continue to do it consistently. Going to UCLA is not a huge football program. Very few head coaches could really make a huge dynasty out of UCLA, but he turned Oregon football into a dynasty.
Right, so you could have said the same thing about Oregon before he got there.
That's what I'm saying.
Right, but I'm saying you said UCLA is not a big program, but Oregon wasn't a big program.
No, but my point is he made them a big program.
Right.
He transformed them.
But yeah, on this, I think that I agree that he might not take the job, and I think he's going to go to Washington,
Honestly, if he had more of a personality, I would expect him to go into broadcasting.
Yeah, I could see that.
I don't know how old he is. How old is he? Like 65?
Yeah, he's up there.
Okay, so he's a little older, but 65 is not that old anymore, and you don't have to be in great physical shape to be a head coach.
Correct.
Like, there's no reason you can't be a head coach into your
71.
80s. Okay, he's 71, so even older. So Belichick at 71 years old, he has maybe, give or take, another 10 years.
Yeah.
Knowing him, he probably feels that he has something to prove as a head coach. And he wants to go to a different team and win again. Something tells me that.
He probably, I could see him dying on the field, and then they keep his casket there because he doesn't want to take any days off even to be buried.
Yeah, they would. It sounds like something they would do. I think I think he would go to another team. But I really don't think he would take the job if they don't give him the power of being a GM.
Yeah.
I don't see that happening. In fact, I don't even know if Chip Kelly would take an NFL job if they don't give him the power of being a GM. And the thing is, I think the biggest reason is because he knows he can get it.
Yeah, it's true.
Okay, so I want to talk a little bit about, the Chargers got blown out by Aiden O'Connell. I never thought that Bill Belichick would be out the door before Brandon Staley. Brandon Staley needs to be fired on the tarmac.
Yeah, by the time this episode airs, we're filming this about 24 hours before the episode airs. I think Staley will be fired. You
think it's going to be within 24 hours?
Yeah, I think the team quit tonight.
Well, Well, and this is totally, and by the way, the Chargers, I mean, they were terrible with Justin Herbert. They were losing games that they should have been able to win. They had enough talent, and it was just these horrible, stupid decisions.
And he's a defensive coach, and their defense sucks.
So here's a tweet from Albert Breer. So the Chargers coach, Brandon Staley, at the podium, asked if he thinks he'll have his job tomorrow. He says, I don't know that. Then asked if he thinks he should. He says, yes. The reporter says, why? He says, I know what I've done here for 3 years. I know what I've put into this. I know the type of coach I am. In other words, yeah, I know the type of coach I am. A bad coach.
Right.
Like what? Here's the thing. I don't blame him for saying that, because if you say I shouldn't keep my job, I mean, look, you got to be confident on some level. Like deep down, he probably knows he should be fired, but he's not going to say that publicly.
Yeah, I agree. I think he's gone. There's no chance he stays for next season. There's no chance he'll be the coach next season. So I feel like why not just get it done now? I'm a big believer in that. Why not just fire the guy? You know, if you're going to fire him at the end of the season, might as well just fire him now.
Do you think that would have anything to do with how much you have to pay him?
No, because they're going to fire him anyway.
Okay, well,
I mean, look at look at Texas A&M and stuff. Like,
yeah, I mean, college football's. I mean, Texas A&M, they kept him a little. They kept Jimbo Fisher a little longer because
they didn't wait to the end of the season, though.
Well, no, what I'm saying is they could have fired him last year.
Yeah, but
and he probably deserved to be fired last year.
Well, yeah, but there's been talks of him being fired. Obviously, you could have said Staley should have been fired after that blown lead against Jacksonville. So, there's no chance that he keeps his job.
No. I think that at the very best, he goes to the end of the season. Even that, I mean, I feel like if he was in New York or Boston or a more intense sports city, he would have been fired already.
Right.
I think the California people can tolerate bad coaches longer.
Yeah.
If he was a Jets head coach, he would have been like crucified.
Yeah, I mean, he's probably on par with Adam Gase. So.
In terms of his reputation, yes.
Yes. Yeah. Exactly.
Adam Gase's reputation. Apparently, I saw a few years ago he was apparently coaching a high school team or something.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a fall.
That's a what?
That's a fall.
Yeah, a real fall. The Chargers are just they're just a disaster. And okay, so I want to get into some of this NBA stuff. Draymond Green is suspended indefinitely. Because it's a day ending in Y, Draymond Green got into another fight. You can start it off.
Yeah, so basically, again, this was at the start of the game. Well, not as early as he choked Rudy Gobert, but he's being like, it's like, I think it was an inbound pass basically, and Josef Nurkic was on him, like he was behind him, like sort of grabbing like from behind him, and Draymond like turned around and it looks like he punched him. My opinion is that it was accidental, but Draymond can never get the benefit of the doubt because of his reputation. And then Josef Nurkic kind of went to sleep. If you watch the video, like he was almost out. He's suspended. I hope it's not too long because I actually do like Draymond and I like more of the physical play. And the way that Draymond plays, like, I don't know if he's that much of a dirty player, but he's always going to have physical like altercations because of his physicality of play.
Well, I think it's both. I do think he's a dirty player. I think he's clearly a dirty. I think he's the most dirty player we've ever seen. Not that it's saying much because, like, we don't see that many dirty players.
Yeah.
Let's put it this way: Draymond Green is like the Ndamukong Suh of the NBA.
Yeah, he was bad. Like Grayson Allen in college too.
The obvious difference is that Grayson Allen was in college and he kind of outgrew it.
But yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Draymond. Even if, like, to me, it looked accidental, but
no, it was not accidental.
You didn't think so? Because it felt like he turned around. You think he actually punched?
I think Draymond Green just can't fight. I think he's crazy. Like, he throws punches like he's Edward Scissorhands. Like he's all over the place. I think there's a few reasons. I think it was on purpose. Look at this. Look at that. I think that's on purpose. I mean, I know you can't see it, but I'm just looking at it on my phone. I think it was on purpose. Just the way he swung it. And not only that, his reaction afterwards. I feel like if it was an accident, he would be like, oh my God, I'm so sorry. What did I do? He didn't look the slightest bit concerned after this.
Yeah, I mean, again, though, like, it's like, I think also, like, because of who it is, like, I did think that, like, he shouldn't have been suspended for the Sabonis incident. Like, I thought that was also, like,
I didn't think so either. I didn't think that was fair. I agreed with you on that.
But that is the thing, is like, he'll never get the benefit of the doubt ever.
But at the same time, like, if there's a benefit, I mean, nor should he.
Nor should he.
He hasn't earned, like the thing is, he's such a dirty player. He shouldn't get the benefit of the doubt. Like I don't believe any of this. The only one of those times that I think he shouldn't have been suspended was with Domantas Sabonis, because I thought that was kind of an understandable reaction. But the thing is that, like, he's done this so many times.
I mean, the LeBron one, I didn't think he should have been suspended either in the finals.
You didn't?
No.
When he hit him in the nuts?
Yeah, I didn't know about that.
He hit him in the nuts on purpose. You don't think he should have been suspended for that?
No.
You think he should have been suspended for Steven Adams' hit?
I actually didn't think that one was on purpose.
Oh, come on. That was on purpose. Are you crazy?
If you watch that one, he's coming up for a rebound. Like, I didn't think that one.
He flat out swung back his leg. Is there a way to play that video on the screen? It was from 7 years ago, but no, you don't think that Steven Adams hit was on purpose?
No.
It was totally, come on. That was totally on purpose. I wonder, honestly, I wonder how much that picture would sell if you bid for it.
Probably a lot. But
a lot of money. No, that was totally on.
Yeah. But yeah, certainly hasn't earned the benefit of the doubt. The one thing I will say is, like, if he was to say, even if he was to get kicked out of the league, like, say they kicked him out of the league, like the Donald Sterling, like when he wasn't expected to get kicked out of the league, it wouldn't actually be that bad for him because he has a job at TNT waiting for him.
Job at TNT. Also, he works at Colin Cowherd's network, The Volume.
Yeah, The Volume. Which also, like, his podcast is going to do crazy numbers his next episode, right?
Yeah. Okay, so no, I think Draymond Green has been coddled his entire time in the NBA. He's gotten away with all this stuff and gotten a slap on the wrist. And now the NBA is like, now that he's suspended indefinitely, which basically just means the NBA is saying, okay, he's suspended and we don't know what to do with this guy. That's what they're saying.
Correct.
The thing is, I'm all for fights and all that and the game being physical. I don't have an issue with that. It's like he is a flat out dirty player. He is completely dirty.
Well, he's the only guy who has been suspended in the NBA this season so far, and this is his second suspension.
Yeah. It's just,
if you don't count John Morant. But yeah.
The John Morant stuff was just, well, he was suspended. The John Morant stuff is different because he didn't play yet this year.
But I'm saying, yeah, so if you count guys who have played this year, he's the only one that's been suspended.
Yeah, because he's acting like a complete idiot. I mean,
well, because someone asked how John Morant only got 25 and Draymond got indefinite. It's probably because Draymond has repeat offenses.
Draymond has repeat offenses. John Morant does not. Well, you could argue John Morant does too, but not in the games.
Correct.
And
also, Morant was off court as well.
Right, that's what I'm saying. It was off court, and it wasn't really something in a serious. It, like, fooling around with a gun is really stupid and criminal.
I actually didn't. I actually was on the side that he should not have been suspended at all.
Yeah, I mean, some of the stuff I don't know, but like, yeah, John Morant, 25. I mean, it just makes sense to me because, like, Draymond Green is doing the stuff on the court. He's been suspended. It hasn't worked. I don't know. All right. So I do want to talk about another fight that happened, Bucks Pacers. So this was all about the game ball, apparently.
Yeah, correct. So Oscar Tshiebwe, rookie for the Pacers, got his first NBA points. And it's done just sort of like in the MLB when a guy gets his first hit, that the team will get the game ball to the guy because it's his first points in the NBA. The problem was that Giannis had 64 points, 32 on free throws, by the way, which was the Bucks franchise record. And he wanted the game ball. So basically, I think the Pacers were, first of all, they didn't shake hands at the end of the game, which is normally like, not like
wait, who didn't shake? Was it the Pacers that didn't shake hands or the Bucks?
Yeah, Pacers. And then they were in the locker room, and then I guess he realized they had the game ball, and then he just starts running like a bat out of hell into the locker room. And then they, like other Bucks players, ran into the locker room. And then the Rick Carlisle, the coach of the Pacers, said that the GM of the Patriots was elbowed in the ribs by a Bucks player. So it all kind of got out of control. I'm on the side of the Pacers. I think that a guy's first NBA points are more meaningful now than like the Milwaukee Bucks franchise record, especially because Giannis will probably just set it again.
Yeah, I mean, first of all, Giannis, who is a veteran now, who is probably going to be a Hall of Famer, he cares that much about a game ball?
Yeah.
I mean, like, I don't know. It's like, does he really care that much about a game ball? No, I think both sides were wrong in their own way, obviously. I think it's sort of complicated. But, like, why does he care so much about a game ball? Did he only care about the game ball because they didn't shake hands?
No, because he set the record.
No, but what I'm saying is that would he have cared about this if they didn't refuse to shake hands with them?
Yeah, I think so. But he was kind of like, I feel like he's a little like, he does things like that sometimes. Like he has issues with like, I don't know. He's had issues like that with sportsmanship, like yeah. So he like the I'm trying to find the video, but if you remember, like it was after the play. I think it was in the playoffs. So I'm trying to. No, it was during the regular season last year where he was shooting free throws, and the guy who was working for the 76ers like brought a ladder out because he had to take down the hoop for to set up for the Flyers. Do you remember this? And he like pushed the ladder out of the way, like so he could shoot free throws. It was after the game.
Oh yeah, I think I know what you're talking about.
He's had a couple of incidences. If you watch the video, like which I was just looking up, he like pushes the ladder away. Like he's had a couple of incidents like that.
Yeah, wait, hold on. Yeah, I just pulled it up. Hold on a second. I'm watching it right now.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying. He's pushing it out of the way so he can shoot free throws.
Yeah. Yeah. He was.
Oh shit! Yeah. I remember that.
Like so, yeah. So he's had incidents like this before. Like I'm kind of I'm not a huge Giannis guy. I kind of think that Jokic and Embiid are better, honestly. But I'm not a huge Giannis guy. I think also Giannis is a big like fishing for fouls guy.
I don't take issue with that, but
bigger than Embiid and Jokic. But obviously he's a great player. But yeah, like this is like also like scoring records nowadays in the NBA are going to be broken left and right.
Yeah, they're going to be broken all the time, and it's like it's just weird to me that he cared that much about a game ball.
Yeah,
like especially when another player when another player got his first points.
Right, like that's the other thing. Like scoring records will be broken, but you'll never ever get your first points ever. Like that's it. Like, you can only get it once.
No. I think he was pissed off, and this was just a straw that broke the camel's back. It doesn't seem like.
I agree.
Like it doesn't seem like something that off just by itself would piss you off that much.
Yeah, he was a great player at Kentucky too, Oscar Tshiebwe. I remember.
Yeah, he was.
He was.
Well,
but
college basketball. I mean, I haven't paid attention to the season so far, but I don't pay attention to college basketball until football is over.
It kind of shows you also like how different like college football is, or college basketball is than college football. Like the best player in college basketball, like Oscar Tshiebwe was playing on the D League last year, and he was a great player in college. Or like Miles Powell, who had the most points in college one year, he didn't even get drafted. Like imagine like the best player in college football not getting drafted. Like it shows you like how different college basketball is.
Yeah. Yeah, no, that's true. Yeah, no. But yeah, I don't know. All of these weird things are the reason the NBA is in the news right now. Yeah, it's funny. The NBA is in the news because of all of this negative stuff, and not because of the in-season tournament.
What do you think, by the way, of the Lakers are going to put a banner down for the?
That's pathetic. That is pathetic that they're putting a banner up for winning the in-season tournament, which means absolutely nothing. It means nothing except for the players getting extra money. And for the star players, I'm not. I mean, for the guys at the end of the bench, that could be a lot of money, and that's good for them. But I mean, other than what I can't stand about the in-season tournament is that it means nothing to the fans. It's only for the players. Like, okay, it's good that they get extra money, but it should mean something in terms for the fans too.
Yeah, I mean, I thought it was well marketed though by the NBA. Like the NBA is good at a lot of things, and one of them is like marketing. Like for instance, when they played the in-season tournament final was great. Like they waited for the Heisman Trophy to end. There was no college football on. There was no NFL. Like it was it was great planning by them.
Here's the problem with the in-season tournament, though. The biggest problem is that the courts are butt ugly.
Yeah.
Those courts are so fucking ugly. I couldn't watch it. I'm like, if I keep watching this, I'm going to get a brain aneurysm. Okay. I cannot watch that. I cannot look at that court. I don't know what idiot thought of designing the courts that way.
Yeah, I agree with that. But I think like, yeah, I don't love the banner thing when you already have 16 NBA champions.
Right, that's what I'm saying. And by the way, I don't like it either way. Because if you're a bad team and you put it up, it's like, wow, it's so pathetic that this team, like the Knicks would do that or something. Like, oh, they're putting up the banner for winning an in-season tournament. That's ridiculous. Now, I mean, I don't even know how long this in-season tournament's going to be a thing. I mean, like, I think 5 years from now, we're going to be like looking back on this and be like, hey, remember that in-season tournament the NBA used to do?
I disagree. I think it's going to be around for a while.
I don't think it will be. I mean, I think it might be around for a couple more years.
Right.
But I don't think it's going to be around forever.
Well, yeah, but we'll see.
We'll see. I guess we'll find out about that. So did you hear about this Al Michaels thing? So he was moved off the NBC playoff coverage.
Yeah, he was moved off the playoff coverage. I mean, people said it had to do with Taylor Swift, but I think it had to do with last year. Like he was, if you remember, he was getting a lot of complaints. He was so like mundane during the
he didn't care
the playoff game Jaguars, which is one thing, but it was like the biggest comeback in the history of the NFL playoffs. So, and he was just like mundane during it, and so I think that might have had to do with it. He also makes a lot of money from Amazon, in the tens of millions, to call one Amazon game a week. Like I could see him not really caring about this as well. Like
he's old. I think he's like 79 years old.
Yeah, he called the Miracle on Ice. The Miracle on Ice was 43 years ago.
Yeah. And my dad met him at the crap table one time. Have I ever told you this story?
But not the viewers.
Okay, so the viewers have. My dad played craps with him one time. Al Michaels rolls a 4. So he has to hit a 4. If you don't know anything about craps, a 4 and a 10 are the hardest numbers to hit. So my dad says to him, "Hey Al, do you believe in miracles?" And Al Michaels was not happy.
No, probably like the 8th time you heard that day too. By the way,
yeah, probably. I mean, you know how many people have probably said that to him? like that's an original line.
I can see I can see that like every day. Like if he goes like Foot Locker and he's like, "Oh, do you have this shoe in a size 10?" And they're like, "Well, we might have it. Let me check. Do you believe in miracles?" Like,
yeah, or
his everyday life. It would have been. I don't know how that story ended, but it would have been hilarious if he just rolled a 7 after that.
Yeah, that's a good question. Well, one time when we were in Atlantic City, I was playing craps. I turned around, I saw you, and I rolled a 7.
Yes. I think you probably could have done that. You've done that without saying me too, as well.
That's totally accurate. That's totally accurate. I don't know. I don't really care who. To be honest with you, I don't care who broadcasts the games that much.
No.
People often say they hate Joe Buck or whatever. I don't believe anybody actually watches games on mute because they don't like Joe Buck.
No. But the NFL is announcer proof. Like, guys will watch.
Right.
People will watch the NFL no matter who the announcer. There are sports I think like baseball benefits a lot from who the announcer is, especially locally. Like the Mets have great announcers, the Yankees have pretty good announcers. Like those sports
are for the regular season.
Yeah, they benefit well. And I do miss if you watch some World Series, like Joe Buck's calls in a big game is miss. But yeah, the NFL is announcer proof.
The thing is, Joe Buck can kind of do baseball a little better because baseball requires less talking and he lets it breathe more. Football is different. You kind of have to keep up with the pace of the game in football.
Right.
Joe Buck sometimes sleeps through some of these big plays, and people don't like that.
Right.
That's the thing with announcing. Like, announcing different sports is kind of different. The thing with Joe Buck is that fan bases hate Joe Buck because he thinks Joe Buck hates their team. Every fan base thinks that. But
which shows you how nonpartisan he is. If every fan base,
right? No, exactly. Because because every baseball fan is used to seeing their local broadcasts where they're all biased in favor of their team. So they're just so used to that they see somebody like Joe Buck who's unbiased and they think thinks that he hates their team.
Correct.
So I do want to get into some picks, NFL and college. College for this weekend, just a few bowl picks. But okay, so Cowboys at Bills. We're both picking this game.
Yeah, I'm on Dallas. But they look like the best team in the NFL right now. Great game against, which I predicted, by the way, on this show and on our Football Friday show, which you can go watch now, by the way, on the Empty the Bench YouTube channel. That the Cowboys would run the Eagles out of the building. They completely did. They look great. The thing that worries me about this game is the Cowboys are due for a letdown. It's outdoors in Buffalo. But I just think the Cowboys are the better team. They've got a good defense. Defense travels. Give me the Cowboys.
I don't agree. I like the Bills. I'm taking the Bills -2. The Bills, I think they can compete with any other team in the NFL right now. The Bills have a lot. I think the Bills have a lot to play for. It's only 2 points. So you're just picking a team to win. So I like the Bills to actually be able to pull this off.
You know, the crazy thing is the Cowboys beat the Eagles last week and took first place, but they don't control their own destiny.
They don't.
They could be they could finish 14-3 and in the 5 seed.
Right. Which is such bullshit. But right now the Cowboys look better than the Eagles. So Eagles at Seahawks +3. The Seahawks, Geno Smith is not playing from what I understand. Drew Lock is going to be playing, and they're only getting 3 points. It goes to show you how much the Eagles have fallen. You're picking this game, right?
Yeah, I don't understand this line at all. I understand the Eagles had 2 games where they didn't look great, but so did the Seahawks in a row. I don't understand this at all. The Eagles are a demonstrably better team than the Seahawks. I understand that it's in Seattle, but I don't know how much of a difference that makes. 5 p.m. on a Monday too. I don't know if that's as bad as going there at 1 o'clock on a Sunday. So I got the Eagles all day. And again, with 3 points, you're kind of picking a team to win.
Yeah, you said 5 p.m. on a Monday
in Seattle.
Oh, I see. Yeah. West Coast time.
Yes.
Right. So 5. Yeah. So a Monday night game. I agree. I would also take the Eagles. Okay, but I'm not picking that game. So I'm also taking Jets at Dolphins -9.5. I know the Jets won 30-6 against the Texans, but the Jets are going to come back down to earth. The Dolphins are coming off a terrible loss to the Titans. Most of the time when the Dolphins play lousy teams like the Jets, they end up winning by a lot. The Dolphins have a really good offense. So I think the Dolphins should be able to win by 2 touchdowns or more.
Yeah, I agree. This is the Zach, this is the Zach Wilson is
This is the Zach Wilson letdown game, it seems like.
Correct. Zach Wilson is like the true detective. Time is a flat circle. The flat circle with Zach Wilson is he plays bad. No one expects anything. He plays well. Then he has expectations. So now we're at the expectation part. So he will play bad.
Right. And then Giants at Saints -6. I really like the Saints to win and cover. I feel like the Giants might be due for a letdown, but also the Saints are just kind of a funny team. They occasionally can kind of pull something off where Derek Carr can throw for like 300 yards and could put up a lot of points. I don't think the Giants are really capable of doing much other than managing. Like Tommy DeVito might not make mistakes or might kind of do a good job at, maybe. But like the thing is, none of Tommy DeVito's stats are in any way overwhelming. And the Saints, they have a lot to play for. So I don't know. I really like the Saints this game.
I agree, Saints.
All right. So there, and also a few. So now it's finally bowl season, but right now it's still the very beginning of bowl season, so the games aren't that good yet. UCLA versus Boise State in the Starco Brands LA Bowl. So UCLA is giving 4 points. The over-under is 48.5.
Yeah, I'm
going to go with UCLA and the over because Boise State's competition this year was really bad. I think UCLA is going to pull this off.
I disagree. I'm on Boise State plus 4.5. I got it at 4.5. I'm on Boise. I agree with the over. I don't know if I agree with the over. I wouldn't play the over because UCLA has a really bad offense. I'm on Boise State in the 4.5, and I'm on Boise State on the money line as well.
By the way, you're a Pac-12 guy.
Yeah.
First of all, RIP Pac-12.
Yep.
I don't know how much you care about that, but
it sucks. I went to an Arizona State basketball game and took a picture of the court because it was the last time I was going to see Pac-12 ever.
Here's the thing. I feel bad that it's over. It makes me sad, mainly for sentimental reasons. It's not that the Pac-12 was exactly a profitable conference. I understand why teams don't want to be in that conference. I get it. Like, I'm not mad at them for that, but it is sad.
It's also sad. It's also funny that, not funny, but also by far the best year we've ever had of Pac-12 football.
That is true. No, that part is true. But here's the thing. I do have a question. Who was a bigger disappointment this year, USC or UCLA?
USC, because UCLA, like you said, is not a big program or anything like that. USC had Caleb Williams. They were expected to be where Washington is, honestly.
Yeah, no, I agree. I actually agree with that. But UCLA had a good year last year. They also had a huge drop off.
Yeah, but they've had really bad seasons under Chip Kelly before.
That being said, DTR was their quarterback last year.
Correct.
So it's a little different. Okay, so Cal versus Texas Tech -3. I like Cal. Cal hasn't been all that bad lately, and I like the over on this too.
I'm playing the over. First of all, the first thing that
neither of these teams play defense.
Neither of them play defense. Also, just the name Texas Tech is an automatic over bid for me. If I see the name Texas Tech, I'm playing the over.
Yeah.
By the way, this is the Independence Bowl, so it's in Louisiana. Very heavy Texas Tech crowd, obviously it will be. But yeah, I agree. I'm not going to play the game because I'm really also unsure sometimes on lines in bowl games, especially with the bigger teams. But I'm on the over on this.
Yeah, and Cal, don't forget, Cal won 3 in a row.
Yes,
Cal's gotten a lot better recently. I mean, they beat Washington State, Stanford, and UCLA.
Yep.
So Texas Tech hasn't been so good.
Yeah, I agree. Are you going to the next game?
No. Go ahead.
I was also, I don't know if you, I wanted to also add that I was also playing the Steelers plus 1.5 was my other pick in the NFL.
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot to get to that.
Yeah, I'm also going to play that one.
You can get
Uh,
that.
yeah, I also like the Steelers on the road. That's all I was gonna say.
Oh, you do.
Yeah, and
I
one
like
and a half. 1.5 is if a team's a 1.5 point favorite, they're really an underdog at home because you get through the 3 points.
Yeah, I mean the thing is, I don't understand why Mitch Trubisky is playing.
Yeah, but so what? The Colts aren't that great either.
They're okay.
Yeah,
They're okay. Yeah. So there's no games I missed. Yeah, I'm sorry about that. I totally forgot about that game. Okay, so I do want to talk about one more thing.
I just wanted to close out. Hold on, I just wanted to close out my college bets before the next show. I'm also on Georgia Southern -3.5 in the Myrtle Beach Bowl. Appalachian State -6.5 versus Miami of Ohio. This is the actual name of the bowl, in the Avocados from Mexico Bowl at 3:00. And then Monday afternoon, which by the way, Monday afternoon football is the best. I'm on Old Dominion -2.5 against Western Kentucky, and I'm also going to play the over in that game. And I'm also just thrilled that we have a Monday afternoon football game.
All right. All right. So I didn't make any of those picks, but I probably will bet them at some point. I do want to mention one more thing. Hold on a second. Where is it? So it's the last season of Curb. Curb isn't coming back.
Yeah,
I don't know if you heard.
Yeah, this is it. I'm gonna give you a hot take, and you're gonna
Okay.
You're gonna guffaw at this. But compared to the earlier seasons, Curb kind of fell off.
Well, some of the you think so?
Yeah, I'm a big fan of the early seasons of Curb.
I haven't seen all of them, but some of the early ones were really funny.
Yeah, the early seasons are great. Like the first episode was just like a hysterical, like is one of the funniest episodes I've ever seen. And I'm actually I'm of the mind that it's funnier than Seinfeld.
They're different. It's hard to say.
They're different, but it's.
I mean,
but it is.
There are certain things they do on Curb they wouldn't do on Seinfeld.
Correct, obviously, because they're on HBO. But there's so many the first the first 2, 3, 4 seasons were just beyond funny, some of the funniest things ever. And I do think some episodes got kind of stupid, and then the storylines kind of got a little more different, but it's still one of the funniest shows on television, even though I do think it's not as funny as it was back then. It's hard to write for, because remember, they took a lot of years off. So the first season of Curb was actually in 2000.
Yeah, you're right. They did take a lot of years off, and Larry David could do whatever he wants. I
mean, I still think the funniest thing I've ever seen on television was when they write an obituary for Cheryl's aunt who died, and in the obituary, instead of beloved aunt, it says beloved cunt.
Yeah, that was the funniest thing I've ever. And they all blamed Larry like it was his fault.
Yes,
that was amazing.
But yeah, I love the Curb also does something that Seinfeld does really well, which was they brought It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia is another show that kind of does this as well, which is that they bring everything around together in the end. You have stories that have nothing to do with each other, and then it just brings it around.
Yeah.
It's very it's very good like that. But I think I'll be sad once it goes to the last episode.
Yeah, but the thing is that you could always watch old ones.
Right, but you've already seen them. But yeah, I'm excited for this season. It's going to be 10 episodes again, but it's really they lost a couple of good guys, Funkhauser obviously died. That was a big blow because he was kind of a funny character. But this is a good. Maybe they'll. I wonder if they shot already. Maybe they would include a Shohei Ohtani episode or something like that.
No, I was thinking, yeah. But the thing is, what is Larry David going to do? Just
he's in his 70s now. He's not
I don't know. These comedy writers, they live to be like 100. They live a really long time.
You know, the best
Norman Lear just died at 101.
He did, yeah. The best part about Curb, like the funniest thing about Curb, is that there's no script. Like that.
Well, there's a guideline. There's a storyline.
Yeah, but all the lines are improvised pretty much.
Right. There's a lot of improv,
which makes it like that. That makes like Susie's character so much funnier. Like,
yeah. But one thing about Larry David that he does is that he makes dying funny.
Right. Like, remember the guy killed himself because of the Jets?
Yeah, like he makes dying, but he did it on Seinfeld too. Dying and all the deaths in Seinfeld were funny. Yeah,
that was like also like a very like funny episode. Like the other thing Seinfeld did was like they wanted to make it known like that which is different than other shows. Like the characters are like not good people. Like if you remember
that was a rule that they had. Larry David said no learning, no growing.
Correct.
But the thing is, it's a balance. Like it's a balance between like they weren't good people, but they weren't so bad that you just thought they were detestable. It was just sort of in the middle. Like they were such goofballs, and they didn't really learn anything. You know what I mean? That's basically what it was like.
But yeah, he's probably the greatest like comedy writer of all time. He's a genius, and like all the he also like all the people that he brought in like could do that show. So it was good like casting.
I mean, I don't know. Mel Brooks is up there. Norman Lear is up there.
Yeah,
but I just in different ways. Just in different ways.
Yeah. But I still like Larry David has maybe two of the funniest shows like in the history of television.
Yeah.
And Seinfeld, by the way, much, much, much better than Friends.
Yes, I completely agree. Seinfeld is much better than Friends.
Because Seinfeld,
I like Friends too, but I think Seinfeld is much better.
I like Friends too, but Seinfeld knew when to end it. Friends completely fell off. The Office is another.
Yeah. Yes, like, Friends. No. Jerry Seinfeld was right. He was smart to end it while he was on top.
Yeah, like all these shows, like Friends was one. The Office was like Modern Family. All these shows like fell off at the end. They got so bad at the end.
Family Guy.
Yeah, Family Guy's gotten bad. Simpsons.
Family Guy hasn't been good in a long time.
No.
Yeah, Friends was kind of like Bill Belichick. They were like really high, and then they started to stink at the end.
Right. That's gonna be like Shohei Ohtani's contract in like year 10. He's gonna be like. But like, I wanted to add, by the way, just real quick about Ohtani. How funny would it be if he just like since he makes endorsement money, if he just took the $700 million to Vegas and just put it all on black. That table and just 700 million down on the table, all on black.
Yeah, I don't know if Shohei Ohtani's a gambler.
He's got a lot of money to gamble anyway.
Well, he can gamble.
Maybe there's like I could see like maybe a curb where like the Dodgers are about to sign Ohtani but then like and Larry causes an accident that causes like bad traffic, so Ohtani never gets to the signing.
That does sound like something that would happen.
Yeah, that's another thing. Like the Shaq episode was a classic episode.
When Larry trips Shaq and he injures himself.
Like these are like great. It's an iconic show, definitely, and it's like because it was on HBO, it didn't get like the widespread audience that Seinfeld got, and you can't really like repeat it on TV like Seinfeld can be.
Right.
But it is such an iconic show, and HBO shows are really amazing.
Yeah, I mean this one was. There was. I could definitely see that happening. Well, Curb also got a guy out of prison. They exonerated a guy who was wrongly accused of murder.
Yeah, he was accused of murder, and then he was an extra, basically an extra in the Dodger Stadium episode of Curb, and he was at the game, so they knew that he was there. So saving lives, Curb.
Yeah, saving lives. All right, so that's everything. All right, so thanks for listening, everybody. We'll be back next week. All right. Enjoy your weekend and good luck on your bets if you're betting.